Now, the most important, or in my view, the most popular, quotation of faith is from Hebrews chapter 11. Actually, that is what is regarded as the chapter of faith. Hebrews chapter 11 is the chapter of faith. Hebrews chapter 11 is the chapter of faith. Faith chapter in the Bible. And verse 1 says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. That I will just stop on that. I will just preach on one verse, just preaching on one verse on faith today. So this whole message of today will be from one verse, Hebrews 11 verse 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. First of all, the first point you want to note from that scripture is the fact that faith is. So I want you to pay attention to the word is. Faith is. Faith is. I want you to think about that word, faith is. I want you to even think about the word is even more closely, more importantly. Think on the word is. Faith is. Faith is. What do you think that is talking about? If faith is, it means faith was not, or faith is not was. Faith is. So it's not faith was, but faith is. That should tell you at least one little thing, one minimal thing. Faith is should tell you that faith is not dead. There is a lady here, Kehinde Agoro. She got it just right. That should tell you in the least, minimum, that faith is existing. That's what Kehinde said. It means faith is still alive. Faith is always alive. That is something you must know about faith. Faith is means faith is present. And that faith is not just present, but because you could be dead and still be present. When somebody dies, you put them down there and say he's dead. We are going to bury him. So even though he's present, but he's dead. But when it talks about faith is, just stop on that one alone. Faith is. That means faith. If it is faith, it is alive. If it is faith, it must be alive. Faith is alive. Faith is living. Faith is living. Faith is alive. So, stop. Let's stop on that. Faith is alive. Faith is living. Faith is alive. Faith is living. Stop. Stop. Let's break that down. Let's now come to examine that. Kazim Ahmed. You are going ahead of me a little bit. You are smart. Kazim. That's a commendation from Pastor Sunday right there. Faith is. Faith is alive means, and you must listen to this. When something is alive, that thing must be active. Anything that is dead is no more active. That is one major difference between dead and alive. So if faith, we have just said to the fact that faith is alive, it means faith must always be active. So you cannot tell me that you have faith in God if you are not actively engaged in promoting that faith or in using that faith to conquer something. If you are not actively engaging that faith to do something, to conquer something, to subdue something, to change something, to engage something, to transform something, to bring about manifestation of something, to cause something to come alive. If you are not engaging actively that faith, you have been living in self-deception called religion. The fact that faith is alive also means that anything that claims to be faith must be active. So if you tell me you have faith in God, that you are a Christian, that you are a believer, I don't want to hear your denomination. I don't want to hear the name of your church. I don't want to hear the name of your pastor. I don't want to hear the name of your denomination. I don't want to hear the name of your church. I don't want to hear the address of your church. I don't want to hear how many years you've been going to that church. I don't want to hear what you do in that church. I want to hear what your faith is conquering. What is your faith conquering? I want to see the actions that your faith has produced. I want to see the actions your faith has produced. I want to see the results your faith has produced. If your faith is not constantly causing things to happen, if your faith is not constantly engaging the world, if your faith is not constantly causing movement to occur around you, if your faith is not causing movement, commotion all around, I am sorry. You have been engaged in empty religion rather than in active faith of the Lord Jesus Christ, which is alive. Faith means faith must be active. Faith must produce actions. Where are the actions your faith is producing? Show me the actions. You can't tell me that you have faith, and you need to tell me that you have faith. If you have real faith, you don't need to tell anybody about it. If you have real faith, that faith will speak for you. That faith, the voice of that faith shall be heard all around your world. Because faith does not speak in secrecy. Faith is never hidden. Faith is not lost in oblivion. Faith is always active. And if something is active, you hear of the movement. You hear of the movement. You hear of the movement. You hear of the movement of that faith. If you really have faith, you don't need to tell me about it. You don't need to explain to me about the fact that you have faith. I don't need your explanation. I don't need your excuses. I don't need you to explain to me that you are a person of faith. The voice of faith is loud. The voice of faith is loud, my friend. The voice of faith is loud. Faith is screaming at the junction. Faith is screaming in the center of the city. I'm supposed to be seeing the actions of your faith even before I see you. Faith is an announcer. Faith is an announcer. Faith is an announcer. Faith is supposed to go ahead of you and announce you. Your faith is supposed to be announcing you through your actions and through your results before people even meet you. It's like here in the Ukraine, when people see me, they say, "Oh, are you Pastor Sunday?" I say, "Yeah." "Oh, wow, we are thinking we're going to see some giant, 2 meters, 6 meters, or whatever. We are going to see some giant here. Are you Pastor Sunday?" I say, "You are that man. Wow. Wow, it's a privilege to meet you. Everybody is dreaming of meeting you or afraid of meeting you, one of the two. You are the one that is, everybody is causing commotion, everybody is afraid of it, the whole country is afraid of. Where is that coming from, my friend? What is that? It is simple. It is the announcement of faith. You don't need to introduce yourself if you have faith. Your faith will introduce you. Your faith will announce you. When John the Baptist left the wilderness, he said it was revealed to Israel. It was, and his faith announced him to Israel. When Jesus came down from 40 days in the wilderness, as soon as he entered the temple, evil demons started announcing him. "We know you. You are the Son of the living God." Why? Because faith is. And if faith is, it means faith is alive. And if faith is alive, it means anything that is alive causes movement. One of the evidences of being alive is movement. If you are alive, if you are really alive, real alive, you will be moving about, you will be walking. Even if you cannot walk, you will be moving your hand or moving your eyes or moving your eyes or something, or moving your fingers or moving your toes. Movement is one of the proofs of being alive. If faith, therefore, is living, that life must be evidenced through the movements you are causing and the movements you are causing to happen all around you. Especially in this 21st century, you don't have any excuse not to cause a movement. You have internet, you have Facebook, you have all kinds of social media, you have you have iPad, you have iPhone, you have smartphone, you have everything. It is going to be a strange faith that you say you have if you are not causing any movement. You don't have faith, though. You are having pseudo faith, dead faith, artificial faith, a replacement of faith, but not faith. Faith produces something. That's why he said, faith, therefore, is the evidence. Is the substance. Faith. Now, faith is the substance. Faith will always produce 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 substance. Faith will always have movement. Faith will always produce substance, movement. The movement of faith is what speaks for faith. The movement and the actions of faith is what announces faith. That is the megaphone of faith. The actions of faith announce it more than any other thing will announce you. Is the best advertisement for you. Now, I want us to pause a little bit, and I want to ask you today, where are your actions? Where are your movements? And where are your announcements? Has it been heard all over the world? Has your faith spoken for you? Anything that is alive has movement. If your faith is not causing any movement, you have to question your faith. Because faith is so similar and is so resemblant to religion, and because religion is being presented as the package of faith, so some people have the package but they don't have the substance. If your faith is not producing movement, if your faith is not producing actions, it means you only have the package but you don't have the substance. I want to see the evidence of your faith. I want to see the movement that your faith. If you have been listening to me all this while, if you have been listening to me all this while, and you have not been challenged to want to do something, you are not a man of faith. Because if you are a man of faith, you would have been challenged to want to create something, to want to do something. If you are a man of faith, you would have been challenged to begin to put some actions in place. If you are a man of faith, you would have been challenged to begin to create and cause some movements and some commotions somewhere. Otherwise, you are only having the package of religion, and religion is a monster, and you've lost the substance of faith. Hello everybody, DSA here. I would like us to spread this word together. Let the gospel of the kingdom conquer the world. We only need you to help us take 5 simple steps. What are these steps? 1, go ahead and like the video, please, if you have not yet done that. Number 2, we need you to subscribe to this channel. Have you yet subscribed? You not yet done it? Go do it now. Number 3, you need to press and click on that bell. You see the bell there? That will give you notification of every video that we do. Then the next thing you need to do, write your comments. Let's know what you think, good or bad. And then of course you have other platforms like Instagram, like Facebook. Share this video on your other platforms. All right? Let's win the world for Christ. Peace.